Hey, good morning, good afternoon to you. Mark again here, WeatherMan Plus. Hope you have a very happy and a very blessed day today. We have some very big news and some updates that's going on with these two cyclones passing through the Caribbean. And I have everything that you need, including the wind impacts, the rain, the wind gusts for everybody. Now, if you've never been here before, hello. My name is Mark. I do upload every single day, just not Friday from sundown to Saturday from sundown. That's when I take my Sabbath. But make sure you hit that subscribe button because I am all year around. Now, the two videos I have for you is the P-Watt anomaly, precipitable water, and the one on the top is the GFS. Now, the GFS shows that coming into our Caribbean and headed right above Jamaica and curving towards Cuba, towards Florida, and I will show you why that is. The one right above my head is the Euro, and the Euro actually takes it over Dominican Republic right on the east side of Florida by the Bahamas because of the high pressure and what it's doing. I'm actually showing as of the update this morning with NOAA that isn't possible. Now, not only am I showing that a lot of people are going to be in tropical storm, 10-meter winds, and hurricane force wind gusts, it will turn into hurricane force as it gets into our Gulf. So please share this video. You did great yesterday. Thank you so much for alerting people. The more we notify, the more the outcome is going to be way better for everybody else. And the update this morning shows that this is getting even elongated way past Jamaica with its impacts. And you can see that the 95L is actually straightened instead of that curve going towards eastern Florida or the Bahamas. That's because it's high pressure. The Euro is showing that this has a high pressure, of course, with a big ridge onto it. And the GFS shows that it will be blocking, bringing it into the Gulf of Mexico, which I'm showing that the upper level low is still there. Matter of fact, it is strengthening. So going to the east side of the Gulf of Mexico seems more logical than it going towards Texas or even Louisiana. But the Euro model shows that it will retract back a little bit, and that's why the 95L curves towards the east side of Florida, as well as a possibility for 97L also. But as you can see with the update, now it's more elongated, more western. It's not showing that northern curve, so I'm showing that high pressure will still be there, and NOAA sees it as well. Now this is 95L. It's looking really unhealthy. It's getting sheared by a lot of wind shear. You can see all the clouds going from south to north, and you can see the storms moving from east to west on here, and it's really getting a lot of wind shear at the moment. And it's kind of like a timetable, because as soon as we go into July 1st, all this shear is going to change. But so far, 95L is headed towards Barbados and Windward Islands. I do have y'all impacts, including the rain, the winds, and what you can expect. Now, 97L really is going to start intensifying. It really is in a nice little sweet spot for itself. It is right above 10 degrees north now, where it's going to get good rotation. It has to be above the equator to have that. And it's going to be below the high pressure ridge of all the dust and everything that's happening in the Atlantic. So it's really in a good sweet spot, and it's headed west. But you can see it already. It is trying to get a closed low already. It is looking very healthy. It is doing some tightening. I really believe by this afternoon that we're going to see a tropical depression out of this sucker. You do have the winds going from the east to the west. You just don't have the winds going from the north to the southwest real strong yet. But you do see them trying to group up and strengthen up. So I do believe it will get a good center to this storm, and I do believe it will become a closed low. You can see it bursting all the way around. It's just a little late on the western side going south, but it is getting that way. And it's in perfect condition, so nothing's really stopping this from strengthening. Now, y'all do have some severe weather for today. You have the marginal in the green, you have the slight risk in the yellow, and you have an enhanced risk in the orange. And you also have it for tornadoes for a 2% chance for the New England states. And your big threat for your enhanced is going to be the wind. There's going to be a big pocket of wind as well as some hail, but your wind is really going to be strong, especially for Connecticut and Massachusetts in that region. Now, I know I always concentrate on the tropics when it gets to this time of year, and I know y'all do get severe weather, and I never want to leave you without. Matter of fact, years ago when I used to live stream and track tornadoes for you guys for a while, also a good friend of mine, David Schlotthauer, used to do it as well, and he is very good at what he does. If you never met David Schlotthauer, this is his channel here. And matter of fact, last night he predicted it going up to 70% chance, and at the 2 a.m. it did go up to 70. He is very good at what he does, guys. I've learned a lot from him. Matter of fact, I'm not the only one that's been keeping my eye on him. I don't know if y'all know or not, but this man don't get enough props. I'd appreciate if y'all go show him some love. He is really good at what he does. Matter of fact, one YouTuber that got a lot of people in his stream one time, doing some fear mongering. You want to talk about fear mongering? He used to play our tornado siren every time there was a warning. So that's pretty bad. But at the same time, I was watching David while I was checking out his stream, and David noticed something very odd about these tornadoes, that they were tightening up. He was checking everything perfectly, just like a meteorologist. And right when he noticed, I noticed the other guy was like looking over like, oh, I just found something. This guy's been watching David and streaming David's information. Please, if you want to get some good information, a good live stream tracker on these tornadoes, I like Nate Snyder as well. But David Schlotthauer has been my friend for quite some time, and he is very good. I learned a few things from him myself. Now, the 8 a.m. update is out. It is on my community tab on my channel. Disturbance 1 has gone up to 80%, and Disturbance 2, which is 95L, has actually gone down to 10%. That's because we had that big ridge of high pressure with some dry air, some dust in it. You saw that big plume of dust in yesterday's video. There's no way it can go towards Bahamas, so I'm showing them that the Euro is wrong right there. It looks like GFS and other models are correct on this storm. But I always have the NHC link in my description of all my videos, so please go in the description. The timestamps are there. Below the timestamps, you'll see the National Hurricane Center. Click on the link to get updated information, because there will be another update at 2 and another one at 8 p.m. tonight. Now, I'm going to take you through all of the 31 perturbed members and show you exactly what could be the outcome of these storms. Now, a lot of them do show the same thing, so I will show you what's standing out as different. If you look right here on 5, you can see how it comes into the Caribbean, then as it heads past Jamaica, it takes a little southern route, and then it gets into the Bay of Campeche and heads towards Texas. Now, I'm actually showing that as of the information I have today, that is impossible. That upper level low that we saw yesterday is actually strengthening to a nice little storm over northern Mexico, southern Texas, and it's going to create not only a trough but some shear that's going to stop it from going that way. And also, if you look at number 10, you can see it's following just like what the Euro thinks. It's thinking that its high pressure is going to retract back, and the storm is just going to slide past Turks and Caicos, go by the east side of Bahamas, maybe an East Coast problem. I'm not showing that's possible neither, because even with the update from NOAA, it's showing that the track has changed and that this turn isn't going to be possible because the high pressure is going to be all in the way. Now, a lot of the members are showing like this here on 12, that it will go right past Jamaica, possibly right over it, go over Cuba, and go towards the Gulf of Mexico. This one's showing that it's going towards Florida, and this one right here is showing that it actually will expand out a little bit further, get weakened because they have a trough happening right there with a lot of shear and weaken it down, then maybe intensify at the last second still towards Louisiana. And right here on 20, it still shows that it will sneak right north of Jamaica. I'm showing that trending a little bit, but it'll go right over Cuba and actually go straight down the east side of Florida and the west side of northern Bahamas. Now, that is a possibility because some of them are showing that it'll just rip straight down Florida. And we do have one just like here that shows that it will go towards Louisiana still, but it won't weaken. It'll actually stay strong the whole time through until it hits somewhere around Mississippi. But you can see right here on 30 that it shows that it actually takes the high road right over Cuba and goes right down Florida, mostly on the east coast of it. And could be an east coast problem after that as well. And on 17 it's showing the same thing as what I showed you a second ago. It could get into the Gulf and still head towards Louisiana. Just like on 27, where it shows it can get into the Gulf and still head towards Texas. So Texas and Louisiana still isn't out of play. It all depends how low and strong this trough will be for this low pressure system, this upper level low that's still going to be over northern Mexico and over Texas. And how long is it going to be there? Because a normal upper level low, their lifespan is about 3 to 10 days. But you can see here on 5 how the high pressure expands out on this ensemble. That's why it pushes it towards Texas. We even have another one down here that shows the same thing. The high pressure will be expanding out instead of retracting, and it pushes it more towards Texas. Around July 6th seems like where this system is going to be meeting up around the Western Caribbean. Where the placement is going to be, that's a little different, but it is trending that it will be towards the western side of the Caribbean, probably closer towards Cuba. Now, when you check for a tropical depression all the way till July 3rd, you can see that the chances build real strong for a tropical depression. It will weaken because there is some shear, I will show you. And when you check for a tropical storm, you can see it's a very strong chance, almost 100% chance of becoming a tropical storm for the islands as it passes into the Caribbean. And so far for 95L, it's pretty low. It has a good chance maybe of becoming a tropical storm before it gets suffocated and dies out by the high pressure ridge. But now it's showing a little more western push. So we got to see what these two are going. I remember a video a while back, I did show two systems in the Gulf at the same time. One was on the east coast of Florida. The other one was towards Texas. So we got to see how this really pans out. But like always, the ship always takes it far and beyond. But there is a chance for this to become a tropical storm after about 4 days. So we really need to get this track under control. Now the GEPS actually takes it a little more western instead of that northern push. Euro showed it right around here, but the high pressure block, and I don't see that happening. That would be in 3 days if that would. I know it's going this way, but I'm showing it will take a western track at that point because of the high pressure creating a good ridge and blocking it. But in 4 to 5 days, it will be right here, somewhere around the Yucatan, somewhere around the edge of the Gulf of Mexico. Where it's going after that still is unclear. Now the intensity guidance as far as 97L shows that it could be a Cat 1 hurricane within 48 hours. It could be a little less, be a high-end tropical storm, but a lot of models show that eventually it will get to a Cat 1. Even the H-Wharf takes it all the way to a Cat 2 possibility. So we definitely need to stay on this within 3 days. This thing could really be serious. Now, when you look through your dust particles, this is from NASA, you can see right here, this is our 95L. You can see all the precipitation within that storm as it heads towards Jamaica in that direction. You also see this big plume of high pressure with some dry air, some dust in it. It actually rides over and blocks it from going anywhere towards the Bahamas or anywhere towards the east side of Florida. That's why I believe it will get into the Gulf. It cannot head north. It's just blocked by a high pressure ridge, and it's not allowing it to. At the same time, you can see right here with 97L, it does try and take the same path to the north, but still the high pressure is still there. But the high pressure starts weakening as it goes past Cuba. So there is a chance it could slide back and get into either the Gulf or it can get into the eastern side, very edge of Florida. It all depends when this high pressure starts retracting back. Now the GFS ensembles on the model guidance shows that it actually could take a more western push. That's what we're seeing new this morning. However, I'm showing it will be weak. And 97L, a lot of the model guidance is showing that it will go right in between Jamaica and Cuba and ride right along that because of this high pressure that will be causing a big ridge right here, and it's going to push it more west. But once it gets around that high pressure, it's going to start curving in. So whether it's going to be a big high pressure and push it more into the Gulf, or whether the high pressure is going to retract a little early and it goes towards Florida, that's still up in the air. Now the CMC model shows that the 95L will make that western push, but it shows that it also could make still that northern push over Cuba as something weak, hitting right on the edge of Florida, west side of Bahamas. And 97L still could go into our Gulf of Mexico and go right over towards Mississippi, but it still sees that there is a chance for it still to turn. It all depends on that high pressure. According to timing of this high pressure coming in and retracting back, that it actually could still go straight over Florida, all the way from southern Florida by the Keys and coming out sometime around Jacksonville. Now the automated guidance actually favors 95L to still make it to the western side of the Caribbean and get into our Gulf still. And here's 97L with the automated, and you can see how crazy all of these guidances, all these ensembles show where it could be. And most of it, you can see that in about 3 days, 72 hours, it's going to be right here, right below Dominican Republic. And in 4 days, it's going to be somewhere in the region close to Cuba, close to Jamaica, just leaving Dominican Republic, sometime in that area, with 5 days being anywhere from the edge of Cuba to the western side of the Caribbean. Now here's your wind shear, so you can see exactly what is stopping Invest 97L. And you can see it strengthens down to 991 towards the Windward Islands as it gets into our Caribbean. Strengthens even more to 987 towards Dominican Republic. Gets weakened down, of course, by the mountains that's on these islands, very high mountains. And then when it finally goes over Cuba sometime around July 6th, it goes up the west coast of Florida, and it actually could intensify to 977 before landfall. Plus, another thing that happens is right when this passes by the islands and as it gets into our Caribbean, you can see the cold front that is coming down, causing some shear over the southern U.S. But as this gets into the Caribbean and gets into the Gulf, now you can see that we get a system over northern Mexico, southern Texas, and it actually strengthens and it keeps all of this system to the east of Gulf of Mexico, and it's not able to move because all this shear is just pushing against it. I'll show you the streamlines. And if you're wondering about the dry air, you can see right here on the relative humidity that as 95L passes by the Windward Islands, it's just pretty much a group of precipitation, a group of thunderstorms. You don't even have a surface low with it. But as you see Invest 97L come towards the islands, you can see a little bit of dry air in front of it, but that don't affect it. Then you got a big pocket of dry air, the dust behind it, and that's not affecting it. It's just a big chunk of moisture with rotation that has nothing in its way. Just a little bit of steering direction. You have that trough coming in. You have some dry air that is getting to the west side of the Gulf as well. And that's mostly what keeps this to the east. Not only do you have a system with a trough, but now you have a high pressure of dust, of dry air that is going to be on the west side of the Gulf of Mexico. And that's why it stays east towards Florida. And when you look at the streamline winds right at the 200 millibar level around the jet stream, you can see that the surface low pressure builds up towards northern Texas, and it starts getting some winds this way as this system, 97L, starts moving west over Cuba. And you can see right here that next shot shows that it gets blocked, and it cannot head that way because of the streamline winds steering it to the east side of the Gulf of Mexico. And it does strengthen to where it couldn't even fight that off and be a weak system. Now the NavGem, this shows something a little different. It shows that it's still going to go into the Windward Islands. It shows it a little bit weaker. Everything else showed it about a 991. But you see as it gets into the Caribbean, it goes right below Jamaica, and that's originally what the Euro saw. But as you notice, if it does take this route, as it passes by Jamaica, all the impact is on the north side of this system, and that would put Jamaica in the run for the rain and the winds as well. And it also shows it strengthening as it gets into our Gulf of Mexico. That's by July 7th. That's as far as we can see with the NavGem. That is a possibility. And when you get in a little bit closer with the GFS, you can actually see that it actually strengthens a little more than 977. It actually gets down to a 975 before landfall of a 977. So it actually strengthens up all the way from a 992 all the way down to a 975. That's pretty powerful, pretty quick. But so far, it's on the 8th. So let's talk wave height. And so far, by 4 p.m. today, it'll be 9-foot waves from 95L, according to the GFS, towards the islands as it goes through the island. But as 95L pushes forward towards Dominican Republic, everything shows weak waves. Even for Jamaica, 95L has a potential for maybe 8 feet, probably 6 feet along shore. But at the same time, you can see what is coming behind it. Now, so far, the GFS has 97L Friday on the 2nd going in between Castries and Fort de France with 30-foot waves passing through with the system. I am showing it will intensify and strengthen. And if you go right on the edge, you can see it's right around 28, even a possibility for 31 feet possibility for the islands. So y'all really need to watch out as this Invest 97L passes by, because it is bringing a lot of strong waves with it. Now, as we fast forward towards the 3rd, Puerto Rico, looks like the south side of you could be getting 20-foot waves as this comes by, and possible some tropical storm force winds. I will show you that. Dominican Republic, later on that evening on the 3rd, it could pass by Puerto Rico and come your way. That'll be passing by you with 27-foot waves. So it would be a little bit of strengthening, a little bit more of a direct impact on your island. And Jamaica, according to the update as far as Euro and GFS, that your waves has actually gone down, that you got 9 feet of waves that are coming, not like the 20 from yesterday. It's showing that it's actually going to slide right north of you instead of going straight towards you. But as it passes Cuba on the 6th, so far for the Florida Keys, you have a lot of waves coming, 15 feet, a little more like 13 feet, what y'all probably going to be dealing with as this system passes by you. And then it'll be gone sometime around the 7th, definitely by the 8th. And so far what we have on the 7th, on Wednesday, it'll be passing by Sarasota, Florida, with 12-foot waves in the middle of the ocean, it's going to be 21. It's going to be quite a beast as it passes by you, Brian. But they have a lot of people, especially Tampa as well. You could be getting anywhere from 13-foot waves to somewhere inside with about 11-foot waves. So you won't get a full crash. The outer banks will be getting more, it looks like it. But as far as inland towards Tampa itself, maybe some 10-foot waves. It goes in somewhere around Cedar Key, and that is right around the 8th. And it looks like y'all waves are a little bit smaller, like maybe it's going to be on a weakening phase at the last second, but it looks like 8 or 9 foot waves would be your most. It looks like all the energy stays out here in the Gulf of Mexico, so that's a good thing for you. Now, as far as your rainfall amounts, the Euro is still thinking that it can pass through the Bahamas. The high pressure will not be there, will not be strong enough, and it will give Bahamas a problem as far as some rainfall. Less for Florida, and then the rest of the thunderstorms will track into the Gulf of Mexico and put a lot of rainfall for Texas, Louisiana, and southern Mississippi. With there being anywhere from 2 to 3 plus inches for the islands as it gets into the Caribbean. Puerto Rico getting about an inch of rainfall on the east side, but it looks like it crashes straight into Dominican Republic with a chance for 3 to 4 plus inches of rainfall, so please be aware of that. And Jamaica, Euro puts it about a little over 2 inches of rainfall on the east side of the island. Now, this is within the next 10 days. Also, the Cayman Islands, you also could get a couple inches of rainfall as this passes by. But as far as Central America, I mean, you're going to be getting some rainfall. It's not super heavy amounts, but it'd be a little over an inch for Belize, a little over an inch for everybody in Central America. Nicaragua looks like you get a little more like 2 inches, and along the coast more like 5 inches. And if the Euro would play out with all these storms tracking down, plus you'll have the cold front coming down, bringing storms to the south, in 10 days you could be seeing a lot of rainfall for Texas, Louisiana, and southern Mississippi, anywhere from 5 to 7 inches for everybody. Now, the GFS actually is what's trending more with the other ensembles and the other models. I do not believe the Euro is correct on this yet. And it has the Castries and Fort de France with over a chance for 4 inches, with Kingstown and St. George's getting over 3 inches. Trinidad, y'all going to be somewhere as close to 4 inches as well. And it also confirms that Puerto Rico will see anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches, but it's not just the east side of the island with GFS. It's covering the whole island. And as this goes towards Dominican Republic, it could bring over 6 inches and even 8 inches for some people as it passes by. And Jamaica, GFS shows the more rainfall for you than any of them. It does show you could get 2-3 inches on the east side of the island in the next 10 days, with 1 inch to 1.5 inches for everybody else. And as it goes over Cuba, anywhere from southeast Cuba all the way to the northwest of Cuba will be anywhere from 5 to 7 inches of rainfall. And Key West, you could get over 4 inches of rainfall also from the system as it passes by. Sarasota, you could get over 4 inches. Tampa, over 4 inches. All the way up to Cedar Keys with 9 inches. And going into northern Florida with 4 to 7 inches for a lot of people. And you can see right here on WSV3 the update on all the tracks and ensembles that now is going more towards the Gulf than Euro was showing the chances of going over the Bahamas. So I really do believe that GFS is correct on this one, and it will be a more western push. So let's check out the 10-meter winds now and the wind gusts and see what people can expect so far. And so far as it comes in and we go into the island, you can see it moves over and it is very strong when it comes by y'all. This is your 10-meter winds. This is actually what names the storm of what intensity it has. And so far it has up to 60 miles per hour 10-meter winds. That would make it a very strong tropical storm as it passes over you. Then as it goes by Puerto Rico, it gets down to a barely tropical storm winds. It's still far away. It's still a strong system. It's just the winds that you're feeling from it, gets a little more southern, will be anywhere from 35 to 40 miles per hour winds. So you will feel tropical storm force winds across the whole island, because it is on both sides. And when it gets towards Dominican Republic, it's going to start strengthening up even more, get up to 71 miles per hour winds. It's not quite hurricane. You got to have the 74 for it. But you see, as it gets a little bit closer, it weakens a little bit because all the mountains and everything brings it by. But still, look at the wind field from this storm. This thing is huge. So Dominican Republic, you got anywhere from tropical storm force winds on the north and south side. So the whole island is going to be covered in tropical storm force winds. But as it passes above Jamaica, goes by Cuba, I'm not seeing a lot of winds for y'all. Maybe some low end tropical depression. Yep, it'd be somewhere around 20 miles per hour winds for y'all. I'm not seeing really strong winds. Most I'm picking up is 30 tops on the north side of the island. As we get towards Florida, so far, it has it by the Florida Keys on the 6th, sometime around noon. And you are definitely getting strong high-end tropical storm force winds in the 50s. And that's not gusts, that's 10-meter level. The weakest I can find is around 44, 45. So you're definitely going to be in between 40 and 55 miles per hour winds as this system passes by. So you're definitely going to have tropical storm warnings going out if this plays out, as well as Florida. As it rides up Florida, it is going to bring the winds. So far we have anywhere from Cape Coral to Tampa at 3 o'clock in the morning. That makes it an overnight storm, and you definitely got tropical storm force winds as this passes by. And it takes about 12 hours to go all the way up towards Tampa. And so far at 3 p.m. Tampa, you still got tropical storm force winds with a hurricane, 81 miles per hour winds out in the Gulf. Then as you go up even further to see what exactly happens with this system, all this white you see here, all tropical storm force winds, all strong winds. They're all in the 40s. And it's in the low 40s, high 40s. Once you get towards northern Florida, it gets towards the 40s and 50s, especially along the coast. So you definitely got some strong tropical storm force winds, and this is by 3 a.m. So that's definitely at least 12 hours, probably looking at 24 hours of tropical storm force winds. And it has strengthened up to 86 miles per hour winds. So it's still a Cat 1. A Cat 2 would be 95. And then so far, landfall is sometime around the 8th at 6 a.m. in the morning. Everything in the white is tropical storm force winds, and it is getting there. It is high 30s to definitely 40s and high 40s to 50s along the coast. And it can get up to 60s somewhere around Cedar Key, maybe even 70 plus 10-meter winds that you could feel. And this thing is 82, 83 miles per hour winds right off the coast. So this thing does strengthen up as it gets closer towards landfall. But I don't see a Cat 2, but it definitely is going to be a hurricane is the way it's looking. And then as it goes on land at 10 a.m., you still have 50 miles per hour winds coming from this storm as it goes across Florida. And this system has a very big wind field. When it starts heading towards Jacksonville around 2 p.m. on the 8th, you have winds around the whole state. And you can see on the east side of it, it's 43 miles per hour winds. On the west side of it, it's 37. So you pretty much got the whole northern half of Florida and the southern half of Georgia that's going to be dealing with tropical storm force winds. Not to mention the hurricane force winds that's going to be along the coast. As it crosses over by 6 p.m., it is still strong. It is still having tropical storm force winds. Almost tropical storm force on land, but definitely over water. This storm is staying nice and strong as it moves away and starts weakening down. Now, as we see what the wind gust is on this system, and I want to make it very clear for the Windward and the Leeward Islands, that when this system passes by, it's going to be all north side loaded. So if it's hitting an island down below, all y'all up above in the north is going to get all the impacts. And these are some very strong wind gusts as it passes by. So far, the intensity is up to 86, high 80 miles per hour wind gusts as it passes by, with a lot of people in the high 50s. So you got to be aware as this passes by you that it will be very strong. It will be anywhere from 50 to 80 miles per hour wind gusts. And Puerto Rico as well. When it passes by you, you're going to have 50 miles per hour wind gusts plus tropical storm force winds on the ground as this system goes by you. And it actually intensifies right before it gets towards Dominican Republic. And not only your winds, but now your wind gust is getting back up to high 80s. Impacts are somewhere around 40s to 50s, but you definitely have high 30s to 40s surrounding the whole island. 40 on one side, and you definitely got 40s on the other side just on the low end. But if it moves just a little bit closer, it looks like it does crash all that energy into the island. And so far, Jamaica, your winds are really low because it's going right in between you and Cuba and Dominican Republic. So you're going to feel very little winds, if any at all, as this thing passes by. The most of your winds are going to be somewhere around 20 miles per hour wind gusts. So it looks like so far you have nothing to worry about. Now, when it goes by the Florida Keys, you will have tropical storm force winds with 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts. It will start to get rough for you. And it does strengthen as it passes Cape Coral, go headed towards Tampa, and everybody will be in 50 miles per hour wind gusts, plus the tropical storm force winds as this system passes by. And now it's getting up to 86, 87 miles per hour wind gusts. So it is starting to strengthen up as it passes by Florida. And then once it passes by Sarasota, it kind of gets more winds in on the coast. And it looks like at least 60 miles per hour wind gusts will be the main factor for the coast of Florida. But then when it goes in for impact, this storm has strengthened up now to 90-something miles per hour wind gusts. Still a Cat 1 with the 10-meter winds, but the wind gust is getting really powerful. A lot of 50s and 60s on land. And then again, somewhere around impact, you still got 80 miles per hour wind gusts with the hurricane force winds that is coming on the edge towards Cedar Key. And this storm does have a very big wind field with it. Now, as it gets across, it will be bringing strong wind gusts with it, anywhere from 70 to almost 80 miles per hour wind gusts, with definitely 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts covering almost all of northern Florida, from Tampa all the way north, and southern Georgia as well. But it does start weakening after it passes Florida, and now the wind gust is getting down to the 50s for southern Georgia, which isn't half bad, but it's 40s and 50s. So southern Georgia definitely is going to see the worst end of it, and it starts weakening down as it goes towards the Carolinas. So far, that's the update I have for you guys. You know I will update you every single day. If you did like the video, do me a favor and share it to others. Help keep people notified of the daily updates of what's happening. And if you don't use social media, just hit that like button. YouTube will suggest it for you. Thank you so much for your help. Now, this is NAM3K. I'm going to play this for you. Not only do you have the storms in the northeast, we have that cold front coming down. And that cold front will create severe storms as well. So you will see that towards the end of the video. So here you go. I'm going to play this for you. God bless every single one of you. Hope you have a very blessed day today. Today I want to read Revelations 4. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show these things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats. And upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. And before the throne there was a sea of glass, like unto crystal. And in the midst of the throne, and round about the throne, were 4 beasts, full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf. And the third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. And the 4 beasts had each of them 6 wings about him, and they were full of eyes within, and they rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, which was and is to come. And when those beasts give glory and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who liveth forever and ever, the 24 elders fall down before him that sat on the throne, and worship him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. For thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Amen. Have a great day, guys. I do hope to show that this thing's hopefully weakening as the days come along. I don't see a lot of things stopping it. The two things we got to look for now is the high pressure, whether it's going to retract back or expand out. That would determine whether it's going to be Texas, Louisiana, or Florida. And if it retracts way back, which it don't look like it's going to by Euro, it would be on the east side of Florida and go over Bahamas. I'm not showing that possible as of what I see today. Have a very blessed day. I appreciate every single one of you. I love every single one of you. I wish the best for you. All glory does go to Yahweh, God of Jacob. Amen. Hallelujah. Best one in charge. God bless.